Right now, the boxing scene is caught in a heated back and forth, and at the center of it are two major names, Clarissa Shields and Laila Ali. What started as a regular interview has spiraled into allegations, shade, and indirect shots being fired through social posts, media appearances, and quiet online signals. Hold up. Just when it seemed like things were settling, Laila Ali stepped in with a response that had people convinced she didn't even need to mention a name to land her message. Now, the real question is this just internet noise, or are we watching a deeper clash unfold between two of the most influential figures in women's boxing? Now, as y'all know, let me break this down for you real quick so the timeline makes sense. Right. So, a few days back, Clarissa Shields appeared on The Breakfast Club, and for reasons that raised eyebrows, made comments that many people felt were straight up disrespectful toward Laila Ali. That alone didn't sit right. And from what's being said, Laila Ali wasn't even a topic during her earlier interview on Way Up with Angela Yee. But here's the thing. When it comes to The Breakfast Club and Clarissa Shields, things tend to shift quickly, right? And anytime it feels like a black woman is being called out, especially one she may feel threatened by or in competition with, the tone changes fast. Listen to this. She repeatedly labeled Laila Ali as a witch and didn't backtrack at all, making it clear she stands on every word she's ever said. On top of that, she's gone as far as accusing Laila Ali of blocking her opportunities, despite Laila's own packed life with business ventures, family, and everything else she manages. Meanwhile, some would argue the issue might not be external at all, but tied to Clarissa's own public image and decisions that could be limiting her growth, especially when you consider how public perception matters and how certain associations can affect the way brands and audiences respond. That contrast becomes even more important when the message being projected doesn't align with the influence expected from someone in her position. Right now, that energy she said she stands on needs to be backed up in person, not just online. I want that same intensity face to face, where you clearly said you strongly disagreed and found it disrespectful. I want that statement delivered directly to Laila Ali, because right now it feels like that confidence might shift into a softer apology. And I'm saying that because a lot of people weren't comfortable with the way Laila Ali was addressed either. Right. So that's where things stand. Once Laila Ali caught wind of those remarks, she responded by appearing on the Hood Champion Sports channel on YouTube for an interview. And when speaking on Clarissa Shields, she made it clear that engaging with her situation is never straightforward. In her words, anything connected to Clarissa Shields tends to spiral into complications, meaning there is often conflict, tension, and ongoing drama surrounding those conversations. She also referenced Clarissa Shields when discussing those Breakfast Club comments and broader reactions, framing it through a perspective similar to the idea that people reveal their true nature over time. That was essentially the stance Laila Ali was presenting. Right. So what changed after that? A few hours later, on Instagram, Laila Ali shared a new post that got people talking immediately. In that post, she included a track by 50 Cent playing in the background. Now listen to this, because Clarissa Shields has previously claimed she issued a cease and desist toward 50 Cent, though that claim is still being questioned by some. Regardless, Laila Ali's choice of that track felt intentional to many observers. The song featured was God Gave Me Style, which added another layer to the message people were decoding. So at that point, the tone was already speaking louder than any caption could. Then the caption itself leaned into positivity, encouraging people to show up as their best selves. She followed that by reinforcing a message about staying consistent and knocking challenges out. She then doubled down on maintaining standards, pairing the message with symbolic emojis tied to boxing, love, and leadership. It wasn't just casual posting, it carried a clear underlying theme of discipline and self-respect. The caption also included her website and branding elements, tying the message back to her lifestyle identity. And while the tone stayed motivational, the subtext still felt directed to those following the ongoing tension. Because when you look at the context, nothing about that post seemed random. She has 21 knockouts on record, which speaks for itself in the boxing world. And at this stage, many would argue Clarissa Shields hasn't matched that specific benchmark. She's not coming close to 21 knockouts. And at that point, you're looking at a career that's already maxed out, potentially even wrapping up before 30, because she's already checked every major box she set out to hit. She already proved herself in the ring and handled business at the highest level. Listen to this. What I'm saying is clear. At some point, she didn't see the value in continuing to fight just for the sake of staying active if the matchups weren't truly competitive, right? Opponents that actually match her skill level. She's not out here stacking wins just to pad a record. And the fighters people expected her to face, the ones hyped up as future opponents, ran into disputes over the money they were supposedly set to receive. So with all that in mind, I'm locked in on this situation. I don't have an issue with any of this energy being shown. I don't mind anything Laila Ali is putting out there, whether you see it as subtle shots or just confidence. And obviously, the post itself shows her finishing someone in the ring. Because here's the reality. Clarissa Shields intentionally twisted and reframed what Laila Ali said to support a narrative where she's being targeted, that victim framing. But honestly, it doesn't even seem like she respected Laila Ali in the first place. At the core, Clarissa Shields seems driven by attention, visibility, and staying in the spotlight. She's not prioritizing genuine relationships, real bonds, or meaningful connections. If she were, she wouldn't have gone after a marrying man in the first place. And she wouldn't have burned a bridge with someone like Laila Ali, who has strong industry ties, proven experience with major brands, and a track record of expanding her reach beyond just being a fighter, beyond even her identity as Muhammad Ali's daughter. She carved out her own lane, appeared on Dancing with the Stars, built multiple businesses, secured various opportunities, and made appearances on the Food Network on several occasions. Bottom line, she's operating at a high level. Meanwhile, Clarissa Shields is looking to expand into other spaces, but those moves may struggle because public perception isn't fully on her side. How do you step into fashion when the general conversation around your style isn't consistently positive? How do you enter music as a singer or rapper when audiences aren't engaging with your sound? When labels or major platforms aren't likely to invest in pushing your presence in that industry? Realistically, that path is going to face serious resistance.
And at this point, bridges have been completely burned with a large portion of female boxers. So the reality is, people aren't exactly lining up to engage with you. And honestly, the so-called circle around you, the people you label as your close ones, those connections feel inconsistent at best, you know what I mean? It's very unpredictable. Sometimes, everything seems aligned with them. Other times, you hear they've completely disappeared and are nowhere in sight. And over time, the situation starts to look like a constant cycle with Clarissa Shields, especially after the fallout with her longtime friend Cruz, where things shifted abruptly during the weigh-in period and the lead-up to that late February fight. That moment alone damaged what had been built over the years, a friendship that also functioned as a business partnership. They had supported each other, shared personal conversations, and built trust. But that dynamic changed when a Zeus-related opportunity came into play, and the behavior shifted in a noticeable way in front of the public. According to your own statements, nothing was fully locked in, yet it appeared that other opportunities were being finalized in the background without you being central to them. You've also expressed interest in pursuing music and shifting your focus toward that direction. Around the same time, Lemmy moved quickly to accelerate Ace's records into motion in a very short period. Let's be clear on that. That move was backed by resources, capital, and connections, which allowed them to sign an artist and release a track featuring Offset, with Launch London contributing as the producer. That record is already live across major streaming platforms. Meanwhile, you've been promoting that your release would drop today across streaming services, yet now there's uncertainty, with delays pushing things further out and questions surrounding visibility because Win Records isn't widely recognized. People are still asking who the artists under Win Records even are. That lack of recognition is exactly why momentum hasn't been built as expected. What could have served as a strong promotion for the artist who performed Lift Every Voice and Sing instead became overshadowed, especially since Kelly Price also delivered a version of the same song. And while Kelly Price carries name recognition, the overall rollout hasn't translated into sustained impact. From the outside looking in, the entire situation appears to have fallen short of expectations. And in contrast, Laila Ali seems to have matched that energy in her own way, responding without confrontation but still making her stance clear.
Listen to this. She didn't rely on insults or direct name-calling to get her point across. She didn't feel the need to escalate things verbally or engage in back-and-forth exchanges. She didn't even have to mention anyone specifically to be understood. Instead, she allowed her accomplishments and presence to speak on their own. And that approach alone carries its own weight, because sometimes the strongest message isn't spoken, it's demonstrated. I'm gonna let that 50 Cent track in the background do the talking for me, and I'll pair it with a caption that people can interpret however they choose, because the message is meant to stand on its own. And that's exactly why I rock with Laila Ali. She knows how to address people in a polished, subtle way, while still making her point loud and clear without ever getting messy on the internet. So at the end of the day, that's where things stand for this video.
Go ahead and run the numbers up and show some love to the video, seriously. Drop your thoughts down in the comments so we can see where you stand on all of this. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on that notification bell so you're alerted the second new content drops on the channel. And with that said, I'll catch you all in the next one very soon.